UnCanadian by B. Constant. Shattered Part 1. Humans are walking garbage bags, buckets of red slop, dragging their filth wherever they go. Poke one little hole, look at the mess rushing out. Who's going to clean that up? Not me. I'm done. Exhausted. My body sinks into the couch, its worn cushions swallowing me whole. I still couldn't believe it. Everything he did, unthinkable. I never believed that it would come to this. You were warned, though, the tiny voice scolded. You didn't listen. You never listen. There was nothing I could do about that now. I wiped the sweat from my face, taking one last look around my small home. Had I missed anything? I scanned the mess on the floor. I kept believing the pile was watching me. Just my imagination, I tried to convince myself, pushing it away. But no matter how hard I looked elsewhere, the pile refused to be ignored. The light from the window hit it just right, making it glisten unnaturally. I swear it was starting to seep onto the white tile, too smooth, too real, the sheen almost like skin. Just the thought of stepping onto the floor made my skin crawl. I imagined my feet sinking into something sticky, coating me in filth I'd never scrub away. It felt as if the room itself was holding its breath, waiting for me to make a move. The stillness was almost suffocating. The tiny voice had warned me, but now it was too late. What have I done? I rubbed my now flat stomach, a habit I had picked up over the past few months. Emily, I whispered, the name tearing through me, a cruel reminder of what I had lost. My fingers brushed against my cheek, a tender touch, but it stirred a sudden, violent memory. James, his force sending me sprawling, my body crumpling against the cold kitchen floor. And then, the piano began once more. His soft notes filled the air as though my pain was nothing more than a minor interruption. He hadn't even looked back. I had been dismissed. I wouldn't dare disturb him a second time. The doctors had called it premature labor, induced by high blood pressure. But I remembered the argument before I was rushed to the hospital. It wasn't the first, but it was the worst. I swallowed hard, forcing the memory down, locking it away. It's not time to think about that now, the tiny voice whispered. When would ever be a good time to think of such a thing? But did that really happen? I couldn't tell what was real anymore. Everything felt dulled, muted, like I was slipping out of myself. Fact and fantasy blurred together, my mind recoiling, rejecting, denying reality. No, it didn't happen. This couldn't be real. This wasn't me. This couldn't have been me. And yet this dark strength had emerged from a place I never knew existed. Or maybe it was the adrenaline, making me feel invincible, unstoppable. I had faced my darkest moment here. This was where I fought for my sanity and lost. A low, rhythmic sound vibrated in my chest as my heart pounded faster, harder. Each pulse sent fresh adrenaline coursing through my veins, sharp and unforgiving. Please, get a grip, Casey. Don't lose it now, the tiny voice begged. Are they looking for me? They know, the voice murmured, confirming my worst fear. They must know. Everyone knows. I felt sick, my stomach twisting in knots. I needed to get away, far away. Run, where no one will ever find me. Or a nap. That voice coaxed, its tone soothing. Wouldn't that be nice? A nap always made things clearer, didn't it? You'll wake up, refreshed. All of this will be forgotten. That tiny voice in my head whispered, and I almost believed it. But now that the rush had faded, the weight of everything crashed down on me. My head felt heavy, sinking into the soft cushion behind me. The couch cradled me, more comfortable than I ever remembered, as if inviting me to forget, to let go. No, this is more than just exhaustion, the tiny voice insisted, now tinged with urgency. Something is very wrong. You can't even stand up. Your head is spinning. You might be close to death. If you close your eyes, you might not ever open them again. My hands trembled, my breathing coming in shallow bursts. I clenched my fists, willing myself to stop. It's nothing, I muttered. I can get up. I'm fine. Close to death? Ridiculous. This is mind over matter. I just need a nap and a shower and I'll be fine. Wake up and clean that one remaining pile. But I didn't sleep. I couldn't. Eyes open or eyes shut, it didn't matter. The same images kept replaying in my mind. All I wanted was to sit here on this couch, numb and still, sit and stare into the blank nothingness. I sat there listening to the ringing in my ears. Time stopped. Was it minutes or hours that passed? There was no sleeping, no being, just a hollow shell. My body functioned, but I wasn't human anymore. Guilt lingered in the back of my mind. Had I hurt him in ways I couldn't understand? It was devastating. How could I hurt someone who I claimed to love? How was I ever going to fix this? I thought of James, the man I loved, yet the same man I also feared. I needed him, yet I feared him, a contradiction I couldn't make sense of. Every night before bed, I told myself the same fairy tale, that everything would work out in the end, that it would all be worth it. Isn't that what marriage is about? Love meeting love, creating more love? That's what I believed and what I fought for every day. James spent his days perfecting his art, while I earned our living as a piano teacher. He was a genius, composing music as if it were magic, and I truly believed he would become one of the greatest musicians in the world. My love for James had no limits, and I supported him every step of the way, even when it meant managing everything else. Life wasn't always easy, but I embraced the challenges because I knew his greatness was just a matter of time. So I waited, until the day, what felt like a gift, wrapped in pastel pinks and blues, arrived. But when I opened it, a swarm of tiny red and black beetles burst out, like tiny kamikaze pilots, a tornado of fire beetles swirling around the room, lighting everything in their path. The piano's wires started buckling, twanging under the heat. Everything was in ruins, blackened, charred, and destroyed. Ashes and rubble scattered around me. I crumpled to the floor, covered in soot, and the tears came. I needed him, his touch, his comfort, to tell me that everything was going to be okay. But he never came. For the first time, I was truly alone, and I had no idea how I would survive. Why wouldn't the fire take me too? What was left for me? Then a second knock came at my door, covered in soot and ash, my clothes ragged, my hair tangled. With no strength left, I answered the knock. The door swung open, revealing a second box, shiny glossy black with chrome accents and a silver bow on top. "I hadn't asked for any of this," I said in a hoarse whisper. "I didn't want this. No, I won't open it. I don't care what's inside. My life is gone. We were so very close. We almost made it." "Really?" the box seemed to ask. "Why not open this gift? What else do you have to lose?" What choice did I have? My fingers tugged the ribbon. It gave way with a soft hush. The lid lifted, creaking slowly, and time seemed to stretch. Inside, the darkness seemed to breathe. As my eyes adjusted to what lay hidden within, I saw a glint of chrome among the shadows. White bursts of explosions like sparklers sizzled through the air. Out of the box emerged a blinding white light, projecting a glittery walkway paved with smooth, moonlit stones. That's when he appeared, the man in the black mask. My savior, my hero, the one who would rescue me when no one else would. But now, as I stared at him, his mask smooth and expressionless, something shifted inside me. I recognized him. He wasn't just a shadow or figment anymore. He was familiar, pulled from the pages of those forbidden books I used to devour as a child. Books filled with dark romances and secret desires, whispered through the aisles of the library. In those books I found him, the mysterious hero who would sweep me away from my pain, from my fear. A man who would love me, even if he was dangerous, especially because he was dangerous. Those mature books filled my young mind with dark romances, offering an escape from my mother's drunken rants. I would stay in the library for hours, reading stories my mother disapproved of. He glided out of the shadows like something from a dream, barely touching the ground. His tuxedo shimmered in shades of chrome and black. His mask was a deep coal black, but I didn't feel afraid. This was our reunion, he had returned to me, still saving me after all these years. How had I forgotten him? Then the calm washed over me. "My darling," he murmured, his voice so soothing it sent shivers down my spine. "You're amazing. Such strength. You can get through this. Everything will be okay, I promise you." I believed him without a doubt. Then he kissed me, making me feel desired and safe in his arms. Around us, the room erupted in tiny rose petals and sparks. Doves burst through the windows, transforming the glass shards into sparkling diamonds. Did you see it too? Do you understand what I'm feeling, or am I still alone in this? If you've come this far with me, stay a while longer. Subscribe. Keep me company as I piece together what's left of me, because somewhere in this mess, the truth is waiting to be uncovered, and I'm not sure I can do it alone.